Okay, we're on this 2000 Ferrari. It mostly sits. The customer has gone into retirement and he wants to use this as a driver now. Before it'd sit months on end and just go to short little trips. And so this little Ferrari story is like most other pathetic Ferrari stories. The guys who recharge and install Ferrari air conditioning at Ferrari must be the most incompetent SOBs on earth, including the ones who service them. This one telltale thing I find out about Ferraris: when you release a little bit of refrigerant and you smell the refrigerant, usually the system's all rotted out, all the steel lines are rotted out. The receiver dryer, when you cut the receiver dryer open to inspect the receiver dryer, it's all rust inside. And the one telltale sign is when you release some of the refrigerant and you smell it, it smells like moist, rotten, foul water. Kind of like if you had a fish tank, or if you ever had a pet turtle when you were a kid and the water would go stagnant and smell really bad. Or still water when you're taking a trip and you go in the forest and you find some water that's really old and it has a mosquito larva moving inside of it, and it has like that bluish red tint scum on the top. Well, that's what a Ferrari smells like when it's grossly contaminated with high concentrations of moisture from either initial service when it was installed at the factory, or consequential recharges from people with the little cans and the hoses, and they don't purge them and they leave air and moisture in the system, or they have recovery units that they've never changed the filter dryer on, and it's filled with air and it's filled with tons of recovered recycled refrigerant with tons of moisture in it. That's the damage it does. I just recharged this up. I left it on the vacuum pump overnight. I said, well, let's give this thing a fighting chance. So yesterday I left my vacuum pump on it overnight. Still was only able to get it down to 250 microns of vacuum. It should have been down well below 100 by then, but it wasn't. So to give this a fighting chance, I filled it up with 1,000 grams. This vehicle calls for 1,000 grams of refrigerant. And just for you guys who are into Ferraris, here's all the numbers on it, so you can know exactly which Ferrari it is if that's your thing. To me, a Ferrari is no different than a Pinto, other than a Pinto is more reliable. So this is going to go for a start right now, and we'll see if I have a plugged up expansion valve or not. Let's see. There possibly will be another video after this if there's a plugged up expansion valve. If not, there won't be a second video, and it worked, and it just goes on its merry way, and it lives a nice, somewhat long life.